In this Map Suite MVC Edition sample app walkthrough, we're going to show you how you can create a heat layer for your map. If you take a look at the map we've got here, you'll see we've got varying degrees of intensity kind of drawn out here, and this is showing hot spots around the United States, and this is actually representing earthquake information that we're pulling from a shapefile. So as you can see, we've got quite a bit of earthquake activity along here on that fault line, and if we go out to the west coast around the Ring of Fire, you can see there's just massive amounts of earthquakes happening in this area. And there's a few sporadic earthquakes around, but they're of lower intensity, so they don't show up much heat on this map. So this can be useful for displaying where hot spots are around the world, or it could be based on many things besides earthquakes, whether it be pandemic breakouts of people getting flu, sickness, or whatever your data is trying to display. So let's take a look at the code behind this so you can see how you can implement this within your own application. So we're going to do that by looking at the controller source here, and when we load the application, we're going to go ahead and create a new map and set the current extent and the map unit accordingly. And then this sample is using the World Map Kit as a background map. And then down here's where we're setting up our data for the heat layer. And actually our earthquake data is coming from a shapefile we have with the How Do I Sample apps. And we're just getting a shapefile feature source in this case. We're not actually getting a shapefile feature layer because we don't really need to render the exact points of where these earthquakes happen. In fact, we want to just render the heat layer showing where the hot spots are. The next one here is we want to do a custom column fetch. And this is telling us that, hey, when we go to access this feature source, raise this event up, because we really only care about one value inside this shapefile, which will equal to the magnitude of that earthquake. So this custom column fetch will give us a hook into the live flow of how the map's being rendered, so we can assign the value accordingly. And we'll look a little closer at this in just a second. Then down here is where we're creating our heat layer. And the heat layer is taking our feature source that we got a reference to here from our shapefile. So you can use any type of feature source if you want. It doesn't have to be a shapefile feature layer source. If you had it in tab format or SQL 2008 feature layer, this whole concept works the same. And then we're going to say we want to create a new heat style, and we need to tell it what column we want and what the ranges are. And there's many different overloads on the heat style, so you can take a look at the different overloads available and pick the one that's best for you. In this case, we're going to show any earthquakes that have a magnitude between 1 and 10. So if the higher the magnitude, the more it's going to get weighted from a heat perspective. Then we just create a layer overlay that's going to hold our heat layer, and then add that heat layer to it, and then add that overlay to the custom overlays collection, and then return the map out to be rendered to the page. Now when the map goes to be rendered, every time that the map goes and it tries to fetch data from this feature source, this custom column fetch is going to be raised, this event. And in here what we're doing is we get passed in some different arguments of like what feature is getting rendered at that time or getting accessed. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to query our shapefile feature source by the ID that's passed into this event handler, and return the actual feature that represents that earthquake. And then finally down here we want to set our column value, which represents this earthquake magnitude, equal to the other mag1 that was listed in the shapefile feature layer. So basically this is just mapping this to our earthquake magnitude that we're using for our heat style, and doing this all at runtime. So you can put in all sorts of different criteria if you wanted to show your heat map on other types of attributes besides magnitude. So the end result is you get you get this heat map with this heat layer here showing the intensity of where all the earthquakes are happening around the United States. And in areas where there's a lot more with higher magnitudes, it'll show bright hot here. In areas where there isn't many earthquakes, you just see a few green dots representing where those have taken place over the last 100 years or so. So I hope this sample app walkthrough has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us, or you can post them directly on our discussion forums at thinkgeo.com/forums. Thank you for watching.